Planning a wedding is an exciting yet challenging endeavor. While the big day is meant to be a joyous celebration of love, many couples find themselves reflecting on aspects they wish they had done differently. How can the selection and management of vendors influence the overall experience of the wedding? And what pitfalls should couples be aware of? What are the most common regrets couples have, and how can they avoid them? Hi, I'm Sam from Attire Productions. We'll answer these and more of your questions in today's edition of the Stress-Free Wedding Planning Podcast.
Hi, I'm Sal from After Hours Events New England. Listen now and discover the top wedding regrets and how to avoid them. These are wedding insider secrets for a stress-free, fun, and memorable day. Our podcast helps engaged couples navigate wedding planning complexities while addressing family expectations. We'll guide you through the journey of creating the perfect wedding day without unnecessary stress. By the end of this edition, you'll get concise tips on budgeting, wedding party management, ceremony, reception planning, and more. Perfect for anyone planning a wedding, all in 30 minutes or less. Trust us, you don't want to miss this.
Welcome to Stress-Free Wedding Planning, the podcast that will transform your wedding planning journey from chaotic to enchanting. Sal and Sam bring over 80 years of combined wedding expertise and exclusive insider information to the table. If you're recently engaged, feeling the pressure of wedding planning, struggling with family expectations, but still dreaming of a joy-filled wedding, you've come to the right place. Get ready to unveil the best-kept wedding secrets, discover practical tips and strategies, and learn life-changing lessons for a stress-free wedding. Your unforgettable wedding day awaits. We're here to take you on a transformative journey of love, laughter, and memories. So don't miss out on the podcast that just might change your life. This is the Stress-Free Wedding Planning Podcast with Sal and Sam.
Today's edition of our podcast is all about the top wedding regrets and how to avoid them. Hi, I'm Sam from the award-winning Attire Productions, wedding entertainment with expert knowledge and the difference in quality. Visit us at atmosphere-productions.com. Learn more about our experience and the journey to help you with stress-free wedding planning in the trailer or pilot of this podcast.
Hi, I'm Sal of After Hours Events in New England, the experts in creating a stress-free, unforgettable wedding experience. We bring energy, professionalism, and passion to making every couple's big day truly special. Visit us at afterhoursevents.com. Today's edition is about the top wedding regrets and how to avoid them.
By examining common regrets, future couples can learn valuable lessons to help create their perfect day. Here are the top wedding regrets. The guest list dilemma. You know what that is. You didn't invite some or you invited too many people. The budget and spending concerns. Yep, you spent too much and now you got to pay for it. Ceremony and reception mishaps. You didn't have rehearsal, so things got kind of screwed up. Attire regrets. Yep, that white tuxedo for all the groomsmen may not have been the best choice. Vendor selection and management. So picking your video or your wedding planner, maybe you didn't spend enough time researching who these vendors were and what they did. And of course, then you couldn't manage them. Then we have time management and scheduling. You just wanted to do too many things in such a short amount of time. Then obviously, weather-related regrets. Yeah, you didn't have a plan B, C, or D if something went wrong with the weather for you. Listen to future podcast editions and we'll be specific on these topics of wedding regrets. Today, we're going to focus on specific couple regrets. Here's just one.
Booking vendors based on their budget-friendly price tag and obsessing over not going over budget. This caused us to miss out on a ton of in-between things that would have happened with established, experienced vendors who knew what they were doing and how to handle the flow and back end of things and basically take care of us on the day of.
So as you heard there, this client booked the vendors based on the budget, on the price tag. And afterwards, they regretted it because if you book professional vendors that know the venue or know the area where you're getting married, they are going to know all the little areas, especially photographers, where pictures are supposed to be taken. If you're a DJ, for instance, you'll know that that particular facility requires 3 setups: ceremony setup, a cocktail hour setup, and the reception ballroom setup. Now, having a vendor that knows all the little intricacies is worth the extra money that you would pay for a professional rather than getting somebody more budget friendly.
I can't agree with you more, Sam. It is very important to have knowledgeable people working your event. This is going to make you have less stress, and they're going to help guide you through that day, making you feel very comfortable. So, just like when people say, I'm going to have a friend be my photographer, or a friend be my DJ, these are not knowledgeable people. These are not people that know the location and that can help you get through things. So be budget conscious, but also think about what is the end result going to be if I cut the bill a little too much. And another bride with a similar regret now.
When I got married, I asked all my vendors for referrals for my other vendors except my flowers, and that was a bad move. They were way overpriced and arrived on the wilty side. So my regret is I wished I used a florist that one of the other vendors referred. You always get the best referrals from professionals.
As you hear there, this is another reason to get professionals, because they recommend each other. We work with each other weekend after weekend after weekend. So we get to know the different vendors, and we also know which vendors to steer clear of. So I have a set of vendors that I recommend in every category of your wedding. So if you're looking for an officiant, I've got 2 or 3 I can recommend to you. You're looking for a photographer, I got 3 or 4 I can recommend to you. Why is that good? Because we know each other, we know how we work together, and by recommending other vendors, it keeps you, the couple, away from booking a vendor that you may regret later on.
Sam, it's very important to work with vendors that have worked with each other. Just like you said, it's knowing each other, and I have expectations of certain vendors because I've worked with them before. I know what they're going to do and how they're going to perform. So, and it's just like you, I know the people I'm going to steer clear of because they just don't reach the expectations that I think that I have or most couples would have. So yeah, going to your vendors and asking for specific referrals, floral. I know I have 3 florists that I always recommend. And it's because I've seen them many times. I've seen their work and I see how they handle things and I trust them so much. And that goes with every other category. So here's another regret.
I also had to get my own drinks all night, which was near impossible. Sounds small, but it was really annoying and awkward to wait at the bar.
This is something that I know many of the venues I work with, they actually assign someone to the couple. So that person is doing all the running around for them. And that's very important. You need to make sure you have that at your wedding because, you shouldn't be standing at the bar for your own drink. You should be able to have someone who could actually go past that line, get your drink for you because you're a VIP on your day and that's how you should be treated. So when you're going to a venue and you're checking it out, this is an important question you have to ask. How am I taken care of? If I want a drink, is someone going to take care of me? If there's a buffet dinner, is someone going to bring my food to me? You want to know all these details.
Yes, Sal, you're right. I mean, it may seem like a small, annoying thing, but this particular client remembered it and it was a regret. And you will too. I cannot reiterate, you must be taken care of on your wedding day. Your food must be brought to you. Your drinks must be brought to you. You should be catered to on your day. No way should a couple be lining up at the bar or lining up at the buffet or waiting for their food. Absolutely not. Now, here's another bride's regret.
My regret is not hiring a videographer. My anxiety was so high, I can't remember our ceremony. I would do anything to relive the vows again and to be able to see us becoming husband and wife. Another regret was that we did not make a copy of our vows. The originals got lost in the craziness, and I will never remember them and never get that moment back because we didn't hire a videographer who would have captured it all.
I got to tell you, I have this same experience. My wife, Vanessa, and I, we wish so much that we had gotten a videographer so we could see the things that we missed. We regret it so much because we're in this business, so we watch the videographer and what they do for a customer. And I just like, we should have done that. That would have been perfect. And this is something that we hear commonly from most couples, that they've missed moments and they wish that someone was there to catch them so they can see them later. And also, the ceremony is so important for, I think, every couple, not just the bride, but the groom or the couple in general, wanting to relive that moment. And it's gone if no one's recording it.
It's the number one regret of most couples, is that they've never hired a videographer or filmmaker for their wedding. So let that be a learning experience for you right now. Hire the videographer or filmmaker. Yes, there is a cost involved in that, and that may break your budget, but honestly, it will be a regret afterwards. Also, another similar regret. Listen to this one.
Our only regret was not researching our videographer more. I wish we spent more money, but we decided last minute, really. We didn't really budget for one, so we were left with slim pickings. 4 years this October, and we still don't have our full length. So glad we did a first touch, and I did a first look with my dad. It was so special.
Yes, research. No matter what category we're talking about, but videography, very important. You want to see reviews that will talk about how long it took for them to get their video afterwards. This is something important. You're waiting a year, waiting 2 years. Oh, I can't believe this. This one was 4 years. That's insane. It should be only a matter of months. Most good videographers will have it within 3 to 4 months. That's expected because there's a lot of footage to go over. There's a lot of editing, but definitely do your research. And if you could actually talk to other couples that have used that particular person, that is another thing that will help guide you down the right path.
I couldn't add anything else to that, Sal. You're absolutely right. Here's another regret.
Another bad decision, not hiring a seasoned planner and instead going with a budget-friendly coordinator who agreed to take on way too much and in turn was too busy doing the minor stuff and wasn't there in the capacity I would want today.
And the key point here is that they did not hire a seasoned planner. Now, there are loads of people out there that think that they are wedding planners. And in fact, most wedding planners are actual ex-brides, because after the wedding, you get the wedding blues, which are real, and you want to plan somebody else's wedding. Well, just because you planned your wedding does not mean you can plan somebody else's wedding. That's why we're suggesting hire a seasoned planner, not just a budget-friendly coordinator who is just going to do odds and ends. Honestly, a planner is the way to go.
Now, we don't want to put anybody down. Yeah, you planned your own wedding. Now you can think you could do other people's wedding. If you want to learn the wedding business, go with another planner and learn from them, because what you experienced in your own wedding doesn't exactly happen at every wedding. There's a bunch of different experiences that you need to have to be able to give proper advice. So yes, a seasoned veteran is very important. It can't be someone who's just done, 10, 15 weddings. You need someone who's done many weddings and has a good understanding of the different scenarios that can happen at a wedding and help you plan, and not to mention be able to problem solve at a drop of a hat. So it's very important. So seasoned veteran is the best way to go. And again, looking at referrals, talking to some people about that person and finding out more about them is probably a good way to go.
As a matter of fact, we did an edition back in 2022, edition number 15. It's called How Do I Become a Wedding Planner? And that will give you some great tips on, if you want to become a wedding planner, what you actually have to go through. So please check out that. That's edition 15. So we just explained the most common regrets that couples have after their wedding and why hiring a wedding planner and a videographer are two of the most common regrets.
Coming up next, couples who regretted not having a first look, a photo booth, and not being specific enough with their photographer. But first, If you have a question or concern, go now to Facebook and join us on the Stress-Free Wedding Planning community and ask away. You can also join us on our YouTube channel. Just search for Stress-Free Wedding Planning Podcast, subscribe, and get it first.
This is the Stress-Free Wedding Planning Podcast with Sal and Sam, a podcast for engaged couples concerned about wedding planning and family expectations, but who want to have a stress-free, fun, and unforgettable wedding.
Unlock the secrets of a perfect wedding with our Wedding Tip Wednesday segment. But first, remember, in marriage, you're both right until you realize you're both wrong. Compromise is the key. Just agree to disagree on who left the cap off the toothpaste. And now, here's a Wedding Tip Wednesday.
So when someone wants to help you and you need that help, don't refuse it. This is going to help take some stress off you by letting other people take some stuff off your plate. But if you have someone that you don't want to help you, please be gracious and just let them know that you're all set and thank you for your consideration of helping me. And that's another wedding tip from Sal and Sam.
Wedding Tip Wednesday is available on the Stress-Free Wedding Planning Facebook group page every Wednesday. Join the group for free.
And now back to the Stress-Free Wedding Planning Podcast.
Welcome back to our discussion about top wedding regrets and how to avoid them. Hi, I'm Sal of Referrals Events in New England.
And I'm Sam from Atmosphere Productions. We've already discussed why hiring a wedding planner and a videographer or filmmaker are two of the most common regrets for couples after their wedding. Now, let's hear from another couple.
I regret not doing the first look. We missed all of cocktail hour, and the photos were so rushed. I stressed more about what I was missing than being in the moment, and the photos showed that.
Sam, you already know this. The first look is my favorite invention of all times for weddings. And the reasoning for it is you are planning these things ahead of time prior to the ceremony, and you're leaving enough time so if something should run long, you don't have to worry about it. It's not going to run into anything. And I also think the first look is a more romantic and intimate moment when it's just the two of you seeing each other for the very first time. And now you go take some pictures, and what's going to happen is your stress level is going to go down. The shoulders are going to come down. And guess what? You get to actually remember more about your ceremony when it comes time. Now, I'm not going to say you're not going to be nervous for your ceremony because that's just not going to happen. But as being a wedding officiant, I've had many times where the couple took their pictures afterwards. Once I get back down the aisle with them again and I congratulate them, they're freaking out. It's like, oh no, we forgot something. It's like, what did we forget? We forgot to do the rings. Look at your hand. Yes, we did. You don't always remember what's happening because it's just you're on cloud nine. You need to be settled down a little so you could actually enjoy what's happening in front of you. Also, by having the first look, now you get to be part of cocktail hour. Enjoy, eat, drink, and be merry with your family and friends, which is also going to relieve stress when it comes time for introductions and the first dance. Now, one other good reason for having a first look too is I've seen this too many times where the bustle is such an issue for a bride. And I had a bride who would not do the first look, said it had to be after the ceremony. And what happened when it came time for her bustle? It took her 40 minutes to get it in place, which threw the wedding off greatly. So by having a first look and getting bustled up before the cocktail hour, for some reason, if something should run a little long, it doesn't affect anything and you don't have to worry about it. But if you wait till later, it could affect everything.
That's right, Sal. There's an edition that covers the first look. It's edition number 114. Go back and look at that. And that's the big wedding question, first look or aisle reveal. I'll give you some great tips on why it's best to do a first look, in our opinion. Here's another couple's regret.
I regret not having a list of specific photos that I would have liked to have. I should have been more specific about the expectations with my photographer. They took amazing photos, but there were shots and locations on the property we didn't do, and I had just taken that for granted that we were on the same page. There are still certain pictures I wish I had.
Having a specific photo shot list is crucial. Remember, give the photographer what you want. As you see with this regret, there was no specific list. We actually have an edition number 121. Go back to that one. It's Unlock the Magic, must-have wedding photos for memories that last. Make sure also you have a wedding wrangler, somebody that can wrangle all the people that you have in that list of specific shots that can get them together. Because obviously the photographer is not going to know who Aunt May or Uncle Jim is to get them together. That will speed things along.
So, a true professional photographer is going to ask for a list of what pictures you want taken. And if you're not being asked, you need to know, you need to talk to them about that and say, look, I really want some specific pictures and I'd like to create a list with you so I make sure nothing is missed. And this is something, a little pro tip for you. This is something you should be questioning your photographer in the interview process. Do we create a list? Do we talk about what pictures we're going to be taking and what pictures I don't want you to take? This is all very important stuff. So if they're not asking for your list, please reach out to them and make sure you do make a list, because you don't want to freestyle anything that day. Because when you start doing it at the wedding, things really go awry because you end up taking so many pictures that you go over your time limit and it really messes things up. So pre-planning is for the best planning. Now, here is another couple's regret.
We wish we went for a real photo booth. We tried to do the Instax camera DIY photo booth and the photo guest book idea. Someone dropped the camera early on and it broke.
Having a photo booth is a great idea. We get lots of clients that want to do that. Now, I'm going to turn this over to Sal because he has some incredible photo booths, and maybe you should kind of explain a little bit more about why you should have a photo booth.
So, Sam, I've seen this so many times at weddings where someone just throws up a backdrop and say, hey, let's take these Insta camera shots. And they have a book out there and they're letting their guests stick it on there and maybe saying a few words. Well, there's a problem with that, especially as the night progresses. Some people have had a little liquid courage and that book doesn't look so nice at the end. With a professional photo booth, your attendants, one, are going to get more people to come into the booth and take pictures, where these Insta camera shots, you don't always get a lot of people. So the photo booth staff will get people in there. They will help them with poses and talk them through everything. But most importantly, you're going to get that memory book at the end of the night, which will have all the pictures that were taken and they were professionally put together by the photo booth attendant. Now, you don't have to have that sign-in book that you have at your wedding, because that's useless anyway. Oh, they signed something and now you threw it in a corner of your closet because you're never going to look at it again. But with a memory book, people get to write well wishes and say some really nice things to you, some funny things to you, as it included with their picture. And this is something you're going to go back to and look over and over again. It becomes your coffee table book. So when guests come over, they're all looking at it and it brings back so many wonderful memories.
Now, let's hear from one final post-wedding regret.
We wish we had taken a few minutes away after the ceremony to just bask in the moment. I hear so many brides say that they were so rushed that they didn't get to relax and enjoy and take it all in.
That's all important, basking in the moment. We recommend to all our clients, and we've also said so on this podcast numerous times, take a minute, relax, and see what's going on around you. These people came for you, to celebrate with you. Bask in the moment. Enjoy it. Too many couples just race through the night onto their honeymoon, and it's over and done with, and they haven't really stoked up the love that all your guests have given you. This is one of the biggest regrets that I think most couples don't realize, is that you should relax and enjoy your wedding day. It is a special celebration for the two of you.
This is something I go over with couples, and I don't just mention one break. I actually mention multiple. If you are having a first look, after you've seen each other, and you might take some pictures together, go to somewhere secluded that you could just have a few minutes alone and take in that very special moment. Then work your way into the pictures. But then when it comes time for the ceremony, 10 minutes before that ceremony, do it again. Give yourself a chance to kind of regroup and come back out refreshed. I hope this advice has helped you.
So there you have it. We provided insider tips on the top wedding regrets and how to avoid them. You heard from couples who regretted not doing a first look, a photo booth, and not being specific enough with their photographer. Also, we explain the most common regrets that couples have after their wedding, which are vendor selection and management, and why hiring a wedding planner and a videographer or filmmaker are two of the most common regrets. These are just some of the many regrets. Tell us about your wedding regret in our Facebook community.
Now, as you spend the next week planning your wedding, if you want me, Sam, or our community of stress-free, engaged couples and wedding experts to answer any wedding-related questions, join us over in the Stress-Free Wedding Planning Facebook group.
Once you're in, go ahead and share your concerns and worries, and we'll let you know if you're on the right track or if there's something we need to work on. The link to join us is in the show notes of this edition. Or go to Facebook and search for the Stress-Free Wedding Planning Community.
A new edition is released every Wednesday. Subscribe and get it first. Remember to do something nice for someone today. And if you can't, do something nice for yourself. We'll catch you then. Ciao.
Thank you for listening to this edition. If you've enjoyed what you've just heard, leave a review and share it with a friend or someone who would benefit from this information. Until next time, it's TTFN. Ta-ta for now.
The Stress-Free Wedding Planning Podcast is produced and copyrighted by Atmosphere Productions in association with After Hours Events of New England.